Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, I'll be discussing some brief thoughts on episode 6 of the anime series, Dansai Bunri no Crime Edge, or the Severing Crime Edge. And this episode was pretty cool. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you a spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. There is a revelation that comes very quickly into this episode that actually astounded me. I didn't see it coming. So basically, if you're going to stick with me, let's rock and roll. Now, we're pretty much picking up where we left off. Iwai is running through the high schoolers area in this getaway that they're on, and she ends up cornered by Kiri, who we know to be, mind controlled essentially. He almost very successfully assaults her, and I don't know, it really got me uncomfortable for a minute there. But of course, you hear her words getting through to him and snapping him out of it a little bit. Then he is whipped from behind, sent careening through a window, and you see the president outside the window. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really kind of crappy editing right there if it's supposed to be him wielding, this whip. And then we have this big time revelation that I did not see coming and totally was like, wow, for me. Essentially, the vice president, who we thought was the instead to the president's author, is in fact the real author. And it's the president himself, Romeo, who is her instead. And I was just astounded by that. I thought that was like a really neat little twist. Now, at some point you have the VP, Ruka, I think her name was, basically deciding the best way, the most effective way to torture EY would be to have Kiri cut her hair. And we see him wake up, snap right out of it, looking at someone else's hair, now that he's found, the best hair on the planet with the hair queen, EY. And they do a little duel, and, basically you see toward the end of the episode, more people getting involved. Nakajima Segi comes in with his rule book, whatever you want to call it, book of judgment. He actually tries to attack Kiri, and I think that's interesting because he is a character who is now teeter-tottering back and forth between, is he good, is he bad, is he going to be good, is he going to be bad, and I like that. You also see Yamane, Bio, and Zaka come in, and I thought she was actually going to have a larger presence as far as saving the day, but I'm still glad we got to see her, that she was involved. And you have Kiri woken up out of it. He basically bests these two to their shock and dismay. And then there's sort of this, faux sentimentality story about how she grew up, the vice president that is, never, being depressed, never being the center of attention, not fitting in, and she came across the Killing Good and then realized that she could be a domineering force over the world and, be the dominant in all relationships and loved and all of this. And I didn't really get into that sentimentality. I didn't really feel for her character at all. But I did think it was mad interesting. You have Kiri basically observing that in essence, she was the one who was chained down by the Killing Good. It was her made to suffer all the more for her being possessed by it. And I thought that was an interesting commentary. And then, of course, you have Kiri and Iwai going stargazing toward the end. Nice romantic ending, I thought. I thought it was somewhat off-putting, the little comical animation during that point where he's woken up and then he's asking her why she was calling him a dummy and all this stuff, because we haven't seen that style, that sort of comical style of animation in this series before too much, and I just thought it went over the top, and I wasn't really feeling the sort of grayscale black and white that they do for the action sequences, but I think that is probably, to underemphasize it for the overall story. But yeah, and I have to say I actually really loved when Kiri is all said and done saving the day and he sort of whips his little crime edge scissors into his inner jacket pocket like a cowboy with a gun. But yeah, I love this series. I can't wait to see where we go next. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode if you've seen it. So otherwise, that'll be it from me. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.